Hello, everyone, and welcome to my video. My name is Bridget Ebert, and I am a teacher's assistant for a college class titled History of Fashion Design, where I do semi-weekly videos about fashion history. This week's topic is an introduction to Yoruba fashion and dress. African clothing and fashion is a diverse topic examining different African cultures. Clothing varies from brightly colored textiles to abstractly embroidered robes to colorful beaded bracelets and necklaces. Since Africa is such a large and diverse continent filled with so much culture, traditional clothing differs throughout each country. For example, many countries in West Africa have a distinct regional dress style that are the products of long-standing textile crafts in weaving, dyeing, and printing, but these traditions are still able to coexist with Western styles. This image on the right, created by Kenya-based artist Mia Kora Ltd via Instagram, highlights the depth and breadth of creativity and design across the continent of Africa. While I read and used a variety of sources for today's topic, which are all included in my last slide for my work cited, the two main sources I want to highlight are these two books. The first one is Dr. Bukola Adeyemi Oyeniyi's Dress and Making of African Identity, A Social and Cultural History of the Yoruba People, which covers fashion history from 1820 to 2010 and examines the various ways in which the Yoruba people of Southwestern Nigeria have used dress in constructing individual and group identities. The second book is African Dress, Fashion, Agency, Performance, edited by Karen Tranberg, Hansen, and Soyini Madison. This book is a collection of essays and a thorough overview of the cultural significance of dress in Africa, focusing on its role in expressing identity, agency, and performance. This source contains information on the historical roots as well as its contemporary influences. Yoruba land is the homeland and cultural region of the Yoruba people in West Africa. It spans the modern-day countries of Nigeria, Togo, and Benin. The history of Yoruba land, as seen through dress and Yoruba dress, has constructed ethno-national identity. The Yoruba people live in southwestern Nigeria, however, many also live outside of Nigeria and Africa. The history of Yoruba dress is a history of change and continuity. Yoruba indigenous culture arose as a response to the environment in Yoruba land. During this period, bark clothes developed into kijipa, which is thick cotton clothing. Other aesthetical traditions, such as ornamental beads and jewelry, as well as facial markings and body art, played fundamental roles in determining and identifying the different categories of Yoruba men and women, their positions in life, religious and occupational affiliations, and social standing. Changes in Yoruba culture were orchestrated by internal factors and external influences, such as interactions with Islamic, Arabic, and Christian European influence. Today, I will briefly discuss Yoruba fashion and the dress of the 20th and 21st centuries. Contemporary Yoruba fashion is diverse and encompasses traditional attire and modern fashion, synthesizing the two into one. Ashoke is short for Ashoilu, which literally interprets clothes from the countryside. It is also sometimes referred to Ashoafi. Ofi refers to the seat of the weavers sit on when weaving the cloth. It is a hand-woven cloth that's made mostly by the Yoruba tribe of the southwest Nigeria. There is a vast tradition of strip-woven textiles in Africa and West Africa in particular. For example, kente from Ghana or akwete from eastern Nigeria. The woven strips produced are typically sewn together to make traditional clothing. The clothing made from ashoke is worn to special occasions such as festivals, weddings, and coronations. It is also what traditional rulers wear, especially during festive occasions. It is seen as the most special of traditional fabrics in Nigeria. It serves traditionally as formal wear. Ashoke is often also worn as ashobe, ebe, meaning friends or family, where similar clothes are worn by all to a particular event to symbolize unity. Originally, there were three main types of traditional ashoke based on their colors. Itu is a deep blue indigo dyed cloth, often with thin light blue stripes. Itu means guinea fowl, where the cloth is said to resemble the color of the bird's neck's feathers. Sanyan is a woven from beige silk obtained locally by the cocoons of the anaf moth. This is left undyed, forming a pale brown beige cloth. The custom was to wear sanyan to weddings and or funerals. Alere is woven from magenta waist silk and is the deep red version of ashoke. These days, ashoke is available in a vast range of colors and designs that are no longer limited to the traditional colors. Adire is the name given to the indigo-dyed cloth produced by Yoruba women of southwestern Nigeria using a variety of resist dye techniques. Adire translates to tie and dye, as the earliest cloths were probably simple tied designs on locally woven hand-spun cotton cloth, much like those still produced in Mali. In the early decades of the 20th century, however, the new access to large quantities of important shirting material made possible by the spread of European textile merchants in certain Yoruba towns, notably Abeokuta, enabled women dyers to become both artists and entrepreneurs in a booming new medium. New techniques of resist dyeing were developed, and notably the practice of hand painting designs on the cloth with a cassava starch paste before dyeing. This is known as the adire ileko. While adire is mainly used for clothing purposes, it's not just a fabric or a fashion statement, it is an art form. Within its intricate designs, adire carries the richness of the Yoruba culture. Starting with women's fashion, prominent pieces worn include the iro, a large wrapper tied like a wraparound skirt, the buba, a loose fit blouse worn over top, the gele, a head tie, the pele, a shawl that goes around the waist or over the shoulder, and the iburun, a scarf. Rising to the prominence in the early 50s and 80s, the iro and the buba are outfits traditionally worn by Yoruba women. Iro, distinguished by a large fabric wrapped around the body, and buba, the blouse that accompanies it, are usually worn with a gele, a head tie worn for special occasions. Due to the collectivist nature of the Yoruba culture, another role of clothing is to show who one identifies or associates with. Group association can be expressed through the use of ashobe. Group members, siblings, extended families, etc., appear in attires of different styles made with matching fabric and color. Ashoebe can be worn at special occasions such as weddings by members of a family or even at birthday parties to symbolize solidarity with the celebrant. Pulled from a journal article titled A Journey Through Time, a pictorial documentation of Yoruba fashion from 1960 to 2000, this image highlights the styles of women's fashion from 1960 to 2000 and how it's evolved and how fashion has been influenced throughout time. Furthering with men's fashion traditionally consists of the buba, a loose fit top/shirt, the sakoto, loose fit trousers, the agbada, a large robe worn over the buba, and the fila, a soft cap. The agbada is a casual ceremonial three-piece clothing. It is an open-stitch full gown accompanied with a long-sleeve shirt, and the sakoto, a pair of trousers that narrow towards the ankle. The agbada was originally a Yoruba native attire and was exclusively for wealthy men. However, this outfit has evolved into a unisex global fashion. Today's generation wears agbada for all traditional and modern occasions, and you can wear this outfit to religious functions, traditional weddings, or a formal event. People incorporate different styles to make the attire an all-the-time wear. The period between 1960 and 1965 was a significant time for Nigeria, both politically and socially. Yoruba fashion during this time was influenced by these changes. With Nigeria gaining independence from British colonial rule, there was a growing sense of national pride and a desire to express Nigerian culture. Women embraced the iro and buba, a two-piece outfit consisting of a wrapper and a blouse. The fabrics used for the iro and buba were usually colorful and made from cotton, silk, or lace materials. Yoruba men continued to wear the agbada, traditionally made from high-quality fabric like silk or brocade, and was adorned with intricate embroidery or beading. Western fashion trends also influenced Yoruba fashion during this time, with many people incorporating suits and ties for men and knee-length skirts and dresses for women. Both of these images depict the styles worn in the 1960s. In the Yoruba culture of Western Nigeria, Iwa describes the outer beauty which can be displayed through the way one looks and the garments used to express oneself. Yoruba people adapted their clothing to fit into everyday life, public functions, and traditional events. Here we have men's and women's fashion from the 90s and 2000. We have the oleku style, which is characterized of a short sleeve blouse and a buba, and a knee-length wrapper, the iro. We have the second picture in is the agbada style in 2020. And then the farthest image on the right is women dressed in lace adorned with different accessories such as bags, watches, and necklaces from 2020. Over time, social change and cultural interactions with other Nigerian social groups, particularly in the cities, transformed traditional fabrics into new looks, more contemporary patterns, and vibrant colors. Much like how we celebrate Black History Month today, the Second World Festival of Arts and Culture, also known as Festac 77, was an international festival held in Lagos, Nigeria in 1977. The goal of the festival was to celebrate Black culture from all around. Festac 77 featured Black music, art, literature, drama, fashion, and more from African countries and the countries of the African diaspora. Today, Festac 77 is a symbolic of the international renaissance for Black culture as it opened up discussion on Black culture and how it can be protected yet celebrated. And I included two images from this festival here. And to conclude, here are all my works cited. I highly recommend reading all of these books as they were wonderful reads. And thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed. And have a great day. Thank you so much.